Here's a rather interesting development, although the U.S. Air Force's 6th-generation fighter jet program NGAD has been officially named F-47 by President Trump himself. It's obvious to anyone that the project remains stuck on presentation slides, with the occasional AI-generated animation being the only progress, logically speaking. With 2 prototype 6th-generation fighters already undergoing intensive test flights in China and its program advancing steadily, the U.S., faced with its own shortcomings, should be striving to catch up. But surprisingly, it has instead started meddling in others' affairs, almost like a "if I can't have a 6th-gen fighter, neither can you" attitude. According to media reports, the U.S. has expressed strong dissatisfaction with Japan's participation in the Global Combat Air Program, GCAP, a 6th-generation fighter initiative led by the UK and already involving the UK, Italy, and Japan. It is reported that Washington has exerted pressure on the Japanese government through diplomatic and economic channels, explicitly opposing Japan's participation in the RD of the GCAP fighter jet. The root cause lies in the White House's concern that Japan's military aviation industry will completely break free from U.S. control. As we know, as a World War II defeated nation, Japan relies heavily on the U.S. in all aspects, including its high-end aviation industry. Although Japan's domestic aviation industry has demonstrated certain capabilities, having successfully developed aircraft such as the T-2 trainer, T-4 trainer, F-1 fighter, F-2 fighter, C-1 transport aircraft, and C-2 transport aircraft, these are either auxiliary military aircraft with relatively simple technology or have received substantial technical assistance from the U.S. For example, the F-2 fighter jet, dubbed the Heisei Zero, is essentially a modified version of the U.S. F-16C fighter jet. In particular, regarding the most critical main combat equipment of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, fighter jets, Japan has maintained decades of dependence on the U.S. Post-war generations of U.S. jet fighters, such as the F-86 Sabre, F-4 Phantom, F-15 Eagle, and F-35A Lightning, have all been introduced and deployed by the Japan Air Self-Defense Force. For Japan, being able to smoothly purchase products from the aviation powerhouse United States is certainly a positive development. It ensures the combat capability of its equipment. However, on the flip side, this also means that the U.S. firmly controls the source of Japan's Air Self-Defense Force equipment and the upper limits of its combat capabilities, much like a master using a leash to control a pet dog. From America's perspective, this relationship akin to master and pet dog, especially when it occupies the role of master, is naturally ideal. Not only does it make Japan a stable export market for U.S. fighter jets, but it also allows for control over the former. What's not to like? From this perspective, Japan's participation in the GCAP fighter jet RD program is tantamount to demonstrating a desire to break free from U.S. control. The United States, having grown accustomed to its role as master, naturally does not want to see this happen. This explains why Trump recently hinted at the possibility of allowing F-22 fighter jets to be exported to Japan. It should be noted that before the arrival of U.S. 6th-generation fighters, the F-22, as the world's first 5th-generation fighter jet, remains the most comprehensively capable active-duty fighter in the U.S. Air Force. To maintain its strategic edge, the U.S. once enshrined a ban on F-22 exports into law. Now, however, Trump is willing to propose allowing F-22 exports to Japan, apparently determined to sabotage Japan's participation in GCAP by any means necessary. It is reasonable to assume that the Trump administration has more than one card up its sleeve. In addition to diplomatic warnings, it may also use coercive measures such as reducing military aid to Japan to force Tokyo to comply. For observers, whether this leads to disputes between the U.S. and Japan or hinders Japan's participation in GCAP development, both scenarios seem rather intriguing. Let us watch with interest this game playing out between master and pet dog.